Gaza. This is Reuters. The Ukrainian capital was hit with the largest drone attack of the war overnight, injuring at least 23 people and damaging buildings across the city. Ukraine said Russia launched 539 drones and 11 missiles over Kiev, sending residents scrambling for shelter and safety underground. The strikes came hours after US President Donald Trump had a phone call with Russia's Vladimir Putin, which was later described by Trump as disappointing.
I don't think he's there, and I'm very disappointed. Well, it's not, I'm just saying, I don't think he's looking to stop.
The Kremlin has reiterated that Moscow is to keep pushing to solve the conflict's root causes. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky described the overnight attack as deliberately massive and cynical, and has called for increased pressure on Russia. Kiev officials say damage was reported in 6 of the capital's 10 districts. Poland said the consular section of its embassy was damaged in central Kiev, but that no staff were harmed. This woman says her apartment block was hit too and is now uninhabitable. Russian airstrikes on Kiev have intensified in recent weeks and have included some of the deadliest assaults of the war on the city of 3 million people. Both sides deny targeting civilians in the war that Russia launched with a full-scale invasion of Ukraine in February 2022. On Friday,
Sports Beat with Myron Metcalf.
The WNBA players want their money, and it's easy to understand why. The growth of the league has been unlike anything the WNBA has experienced, with Caitlin Clark coming aboard.
The death toll rising in Texas. I'm Angelo Bavaro, Fox News. Deadly flash flooding in the central part of that state early Friday morning has killed at least 32 people, including 14 children. Homeland Security Secretary at a press conference Saturday saying she spoke with President Trump about that disaster.
He is absolutely committed to using all the resources of the federal government to help unify families, rescue all those that were still missing, and return those who maybe we will recover back to their families as soon as possible.
That's Christy Null. The Guadalupe River, which runs between San Antonio and Austin, is said to have risen over 20 feet. Tropical storm Shantel is approaching the South Carolina coast, expected to make landfall tomorrow morning. Fox Weather's Mike Seidel has more from Myrtle Beach as people there start to see that storm's impacts.
It's a 45-mile-an-hour tropical storm, so on the low end of the scale, it may pick up a bit more steam before it makes landfall. Expected sometime tomorrow morning, probably before sunrise in this area. North, the right of where the center comes on shore, we're expecting as much as 3 to 5 inches of rain. In fact, the Weather Service has hoisted flood watches for several counties in South Carolina, including Myrtle Beach, in North Carolina, including Wilmington and Wrightsville Beach. The big impact, basically, for most people will be the rain and the impact on the beach weather.
Heavy surf and life-threatening rip currents are also expected along the beaches in Chantal's path. Iran's supreme leader made his first public appearance since the 12-day war between Israel and Iran started. The Ayatollah attended a mourning ceremony Saturday on the eve of Ashura, which is a day of commemoration in Islam. No reports yet of any public statements that were made. America is listening to Fox News.
Fox News Audio presents Unsolved with James Patterson. Every crime tells a story, but some stories are left unfinished.
Somebody knows.
Real cases, real people. Listen and follow now at foxtruecrime.com.
President Trump celebrating the red, white, and big, beautiful bill this holiday weekend after signing the tax and spending bill into law during a 4th of July celebration on Friday.
The package adds $45 billion for border wall construction and $45 billion for detention facilities, extends tax cuts, and creates new deductions on money Americans earn from Social Security benefits, overtime, and tips. But some people took to the streets protesting against the bill and the administration overall. Democrats are looking to galvanize voters during the midterms, saying that changes to Medicaid and SNAP benefits will cause many to lose assistance. A Quinnipiac poll shows more than 50% of voters oppose the bill, but the GOP is confident that individual parts of the legislation, especially those tax provisions, are popular, and they're planning to lean into that next year.
Fox's Madeline Rivera from Washington. Hamas says they're responding positively to a proposal for a ceasefire with Israel in Gaza. That deal includes negotiations to end the conflict. Fox's Stephanie Bennett has more details.
The proposal, as well as the 60-day ceasefire, also includes the release of all the remaining hostages. Now, it was presented by President Donald Trump, who has been pushing this hard to make a deal, especially ahead of Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's visit to the White House next week. And this morning, smoke was seen rising over Gaza. An Egyptian security official told Reuters that Egypt, who, along with Qatar, is mediating ceasefire efforts, had seen Hamas's response and said it includes positive signs that an agreement is near, but there are some demands from Hamas that need to be worked on. Changes reportedly include issues around humanitarian aid, the status of the IDF inside Gaza, and the language around guarantees beyond a 60-day ceasefire.
Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has repeatedly said Hamas needs to be destroyed. I'm Angelo Bavaro.
This is Jimmy Thaler, inviting you to join me for Fox Across.
This Tech Check briefing is sponsored by Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
I'm Christina Partsinevelos, and this is your CNBC Tech Check briefing. Shares of TripAdvisor are surging over 15% after activist investor Starboard Value revealed a more than 9% stake in the online travel company. That means this position has a value of roughly $160 million. Shares of TripAdvisor, though, have been relatively flat since the start of the year after plummeting over 30% just last year in 2024. Last year as well, the company created a special committee to explore strategic alternatives to increase shareholder value. Apple iPhone sales in China rose in the second quarter for the first time in 2 years, this according to Counterpoint Research. The report comes as Apple has looked to turn around its business in one of its most critical markets. The last time Apple recorded growth in iPhones in China was the second quarter of 2023. Counterpoint attributing the growth to promotions in China as firms discounted the iPhone 16 models. Shares of Apple are slightly higher. Datadog shares are up double digits after it was announced the company would replace Juniper Networks in the S&P 500. The change is set to take effect on July 9th. Datadog's addition is continuing a trend of adding more tech exposure to the index, with DoorDash being added back in March and Workday added in December. Before today's big move, Datadog had been underperforming the tech sector so far this year. That's all for today. See you back here next week.
This Tech Check briefing is sponsored by Comcast Business. With leading networking and connectivity, advanced cybersecurity, and expert partnership, Comcast Business helps turn today's enterprises into engines of modern business. Powering the engine of modern business. Powering possibilities.
This is DW News, and these are our top stories. Dozens of people have been killed in flash flooding in Texas. Rescue teams are searching for more than 20 girls still missing from a summer camp that was struck by fast-flowing waters. Children and adults slept at Camp Mystic near San Antonio as months' worth of rain fell in just a few hours. Authorities in Gaza say Israeli airstrikes have killed more than 20 people in the last day, including some near 8 distribution points. Hamas says it's ready to begin talks on a US-backed proposal for a 60-day ceasefire. Donald Trump has said there could be a deal as early as next week. Iran's Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei has made his first public appearance since last month's war with Israel. State media showed him at a religious ceremony in Tehran. Khamenei has vowed Iran will quickly rebuild nuclear facilities damaged by Israeli and US bombing raids. This is DW News from Berlin. You'll find more on our website at dw.com.